What's up, everybody? It's a brand new episode of the Paul James Show tonight. I am embracing Ninja Turtles Week, or whatever it is, Turtles Week that Ben's been calling it, World Turtle Day, and let's get into things a little bit. That is the best you are going to get in that respect. Let's get into the show here. It is a preview episode before a hotly anticipated Geelong and the Western Bulldogs matchup. I'm glad that there's a little bit of love for the graphics there. Ben created them. You're sure as shit not going to get it from me, but there's also another one here. Let's embrace this one for a split second as well. I'll give you this one. I'll give you this one for the show. That's fine. We'll suck it up. It is our round 11 preview episode of the Paul James Show, though, and it's going to be a fairly rapid one tonight. I have a basketball game to play in just under an hour and a half, and so I need to get through business tonight, have a great conversation with you guys, talk all about the Cats and the Dogs game, go around the grounds, look at some of the other games that have played, get some tips in. We're going to focus on Mitch Duncan, of course, to his 300th game in our player spotlight. Ben's dubbed it the Bailey Smith Cup. Lucas boos, and I presume that's for a short show, or he's still resentful about the fact that his mum's going to come on post-game live tomorrow night. The thing that's more concerning is, sorry, I'm not about to surprise anyone with Nips, Lucas style, nor am I about to pull a Ninja Turtle pajamas shirt on. My local team that I represent is the Bulldogs. Feels gross wearing it. Don't worry, I'll be wearing my Geelong polo tomorrow. It's my last working day before the Cats play. I will do the right thing here by all of you, but it feels a little bit yuck to be wearing Bulldog stuff right now. Anyway, we'll go through Q&A. We'll do game of the show. And of course, if you're liking all the... Mum agreed to post-game live. Who agreed to that? Your mum did. And I can make a your mum joke, and it's actually just not a your mum joke. It's just, it is. If you enjoy the show tonight, please make sure there's plenty of you live in the chat right now. I'm going to get rid of Lucas's comments so it's visible. Please make sure to subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube. Like this video, tell your friends and family, share the video around, get as many people dialed in as possible, especially the highest of quality Cat supporters. Those neutrals, they can be a bit wishy-washy from time to time, but you guys, you're Geelong strong. We love having you on board. Please consider sharing the good word. Comment on this video. If you're live in the chat tonight, get those comments in there. I want to pin as many as I can, discuss this game with you in great detail. It is a hotly anticipated matchup. And if you're watching this video after the fact, please don't hesitate to put those thoughts in there. We will make sure that we try and reply or engage with the comments somehow. Be heard. We have a super chat function. If you've got something really pressing that you want to discuss, throw a super chat out there. We'll make sure that gets pinned, celebrated, your name shouted from the hills for being an extraordinary individual. You are helping to grow the Hoops Crew dream. I'm having a rough one. Good start to the show. If you haven't already, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Paul James Games. And thank you very much to our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist. You'll hear from them soon. Patreon.com is where you can also go to check out all of the additional Hoops Crew content. There is exclusives, early access content, and extended stuff delivered directly to your inbox. There's a 7-day free trial as well to see if it's for you. Consider checking it out. Now, let's get into the show a little bit here. There's a whole lot to discuss. We'll pin the bloody turtle thing and get into some top-level news here, some really rapid-fire stuff that I definitely want to hear from you in the comments about. Ben has given me a few morsels for us to chew on here to begin with. The Tassie Devils team, they are starting to sink their teeth into the coaching market. They're starting to explore their options. Whilst I hear that Nathan Buckley is the top dog that they're chasing at the moment, there's rumblings that they're going to go after Chris Scott as well. I have seen the comments from Luke Beveridge about GMHBA, and I thought it was very, very clever. I actually really appreciated it. Mark says would rather see Paul in his Ninja Turtles pajamas rather than Lucas without his shirt. All right, let's get into this conversation about. So I don't think Chris Scott is genuinely at risk. The talk is, of course, that he's one of the coaches being considered, but any new club worth their salt is going to get out there and explore the market and see what's possible, put their feelers out and see who they can pry over. And it doesn't at all surprise me that Chris Scott is one of those. He's the best coach in the competition right now. But according to Damien Barrett, Chris is the first choice to coach the Devils. Of course he is. Like, it makes sense that he would be top of the pile. But it seems like there's already a few realists going, yeah, but it probably won't be him. It sounds like Geelong's already getting pretty active to push to extend Chris Scott at the moment and keep him beyond that point, so this doesn't also happen or doesn't become a constant point of conversation, and maybe the seed of thought enters his mind. I for one think Nathan Buckley is the one, personally. Another topic we'll discuss here is the mental health round, and of course, all of you did a phenomenal job supporting the Selwoods this past week with what occurred for Adam Selwood, and there was some wonderful donations there that went into the Super Chat tier. Thank you all again for that. It was $127 that was raised over the course of the night, and Ben's matching that and donating it and doing all sorts of great things there. But there has been this growing swell for quite a while now about a mental health awareness round, and I'm all for it. This is one of the greatest issues in society now, affecting men, women, everyone. And I think the more we do to acknowledge it and remind everyone that the supports are there, is just the more we do, the better. And I spoke about this in a video that I put together on the Hoops Crew YouTube channel about specifically about Adam Selwood in this particular component. But of course, the other half of the video was about Robert Walls and his sad passing as well. Just for anyone watching now who watches any of our content but might be happening to either watch this on the replay or tune in live right now, we've built a wonderful community over the course of the last few years, and we hope it continues to grow. But one of the key things I guess I want to stress here, it is a community. If any of you at any given point are struggling with whatever it happens to be, big or small, you've got outlets to reach out to us, whether it's comment sections of videos, you've got access to us via social media. There's our Discord platform there where there's so many of you that gather and talk football, but also off-topic stuff as well. If you need the help, we're not the qualified professionals, but if you just need someone to talk to, get things off your chest, or just be surrounded by people, even if it's in a virtual space, we're there, and we'll always happily be their support. So just to, I guess, round up what I mentioned the other day, those platforms are there. We love you guys as a community. We thank all of you for what you've done and helped us grow, but I think it's also our responsibility to, give back where we can. And if you need the support, we're there to chat. So hopefully, if you ever find yourself in that moment of where everything feels pretty bleak, you can keep that one in mind. And, whether it's myself, Ben, the chaps, all of us, hit us up. We'll do what we can to help. What have we got here from Jesselenko? Thanks for all the mental health awareness you guys have been doing. Did you know Wayne Schwass went to the AFL 10 years ago about a proposed mental health round, and they didn't do anything at all? I did know that. So Wayne Schwass is actually a local within my community. He had been for quite a while. I was teaching his son last year, actually. But he's based out in like Brighton these days, and so we don't see him as much around the community anymore. But it would be a frequent thing. You'd hear about the work he's trying to put in. You'd see him come in as a guest speaker. Like this has been a really big thing for Wayne Schwass for many, many years, and I hope it gets the traction that it deserves, and hopefully we do get that round. It's taken way too long, 10 years already, as Jesselenko says, but hopefully we get something going nice and soon. There is a loud undercurrent now that I hope kind of breaks the surface and gets something done. All right, let's get into match selection here and talk about our game against the Dogs. First, let's go over to look at some of our ins and outs for the round. And that's not what I'm looking at yet. We've got 3 ins, 2 really big ones in Reece Stanley and Tom Stewart. Ben has put together some really nice little graphics here for all of our ins. Reece Stanley and Tom Stewart bring in 216 and 177 games of experience. Ted Closey bringing in the 9, but he's undoubtedly going to be a valuable asset as well. That defensive pressure is going to be huge in a tough matchup against a really tough midfield. Those 3 are in. But on the outs, 2 injuries and some important management going on for Connor O'Sullivan. Jack Bowes with a hamstring, Paddy Dangerfield with a hamstring, and Connor O'Sullivan is being managed. And as I said, I think that's really, really important that we look after this kid. Like he's a fancy for the rising star. I've put $5 on him and I hope he wins and all those sort of things. But, and obviously, Geelong dominance. We want to see just win every award we possibly can. But, he's done a lot this year and is, really putting up his hand to feature in the finals when and if we make it. I've got a, top 4, tracking for top 4 at this point. If any of you checked out my video on the weekend, I think top 4 is almost a lock based on just presuming there's no significant injuries, based on the run of games between now and our opponents between now and the end of the season. I think we're almost at lock, and he's going to be really important. He's done some phenomenal things for us so far this year. So those are our ins and outs on the bench, and we can kind of go through some of the details here. We've got Jed Buse, Mitch Duncan playing his 300th. I'm going to flick back to the ins here because it's a bit more positively framed. Mitch Duncan with his 300, O'Shane Mullen, Ted Closey, and Ollie Henry all make up the bench at the moment. I'll kind of swing over to the comments in a second. But obviously one of those will need to be the sub. My guess at this particular point is that's probably going to be Ted Closey. Jed Buse's form has been fantastic since he's come on. Mitch Duncan got a little bit of a half rest. Well, probably not as much as he expected, considering he had to come on in the first quarter. But a little mini rest there last week, and I think his poise is going to be really important against the Dogs. O'Shane Mullen is doing phenomenally well, and I feel like he's probably got a tagging role before him this week. I don't know if Bont is the right guy. I feel like an Ed Richards is probably the right pick there. Let me know your thoughts. If O'Shane Mullen's going to be tagging, who should he go to? Ted Closey, I think, to the bench, and Ollie Henry as a forward is going to be really important as well. On the emergency list, Connor O'Sullivan hasn't gone too far. He's on the emergencies. We'll swing him in if we need to. Ollie Wiltshire and George Stevens is continuing to buzz about. Let's look at the comments here. Kiri says, good call with O'Sullivan needs a rest. Agreed. Lucas is saying O'Sullivan not playing. What a time to be alive. Been awful for... Is this you trying to do for Connor O'Sullivan what you did for Jezza last week, where you suggest, mate, he needs to go back to the twos. He's shit. And then he kicked 7 goals. Is Connor O'Sullivan going to come back and kick 16 goals, Lucas? We can all hope. But that's a bold call. Jezelenko says, good to see Stanley back. Really helps free up blitz, and DeConing can stay where he needs to be. And Stewie back is always awesome. I think Tom Stewart, having those, what has it been, 3 weeks now? 3 weeks. I think it's going to be really important. He's not been what he needs to be since he copped that knee knock back in round 2 or round 3 or whatever it was. And they tried to push him through. And you could see that it was taking a bit of a toll. He wasn't as fluent in his gameplay as we're used to. Hopefully that break has done him a world of good, and he's up and firing this week in a very important match. Shadu and Kiri also shout out Ben for the awesome graphics. He has done a really good job. Don't like complimenting that bloke. He's a bit of a knob sometimes, but he's done an awesome job with the graphics. I have to deal with the Ninja Turtles logo. I can call him a knob. Jezelenko agrees with Lucas. He's been pretty bad recently. A spell could do him good. Lucas is in rage baiting mode. I would agree. Mullen to Richards. Yeah, there we go. So Shadows of my mind. Mullen to Richards. Atkins to Libba. Blitz on Bont. All sound pretty amazing matchups. It's like when you look at it like that, O'Shane playing the really true tagging sort of role. But then Atkins and Libba, the 2 bulls, Blitz and Bont, those 2 unicorns. Yeah, that's a trio of really incredible matchups. And of course, you've got but the crazy thing, like that is, and this is where we're in a good spot as Cats fans when we talk about, and we've had this conversation a few times about the developing Geelong list, but also and I'm sorry, I'm just kind of keeping a bit of an eye on the clock as we go here. The developing Geelong list, but also the Geelong list that is chasing a premiership, is that you can have those 3 matchups, and there's a mixture of experience and inexperience when you think about Mullen in there. But then alongside all of that, we haven't even spoken about Max Holmes, Bailey Smith. Like there's so many wonderful players still in their prime that also get added to that Geelong midfield. It's a real blessing that we've got right now. And, the Dogs, they bat very deep through the midfield as well. But You've got the likes of Kennedy and those sorts of blokes that can swing through as well. But geez, like if we can fire, look out. Closely to be the sub. Jezelenko agrees with that sentiment. Mullen to Libber or Richards if it was me. Yeah, I'm very much in the Richards camp, but I can see the rationale as well. Libber, I think he's one of those sort of blokes that he's a bit harder to tag because of the nature of his role. Blitz to run with Bont at times, maybe. I think the Blitz one also makes a great deal of sense. Lucas is also continuing to poke the bear. Says that Shannon Neal could have been dropped. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. You might be kind of half right, but I don't sense that there's going to be a Shannon Neal benching anytime soon. Not unless he gets a bit of a rest against a West Coast or someone like that, and that's the opportunity to get Jay Polkinghorne into the mix, something like that. That could maybe be where it comes along, but I also don't like there's a hint of arrogance that comes with making a move like that. Yes, this is a low-rung team, but we'll see. Ben says about time they drop Danger. Closey's been getting better game by game. Excited to see what he does tomorrow. The man never stops chasing. You're right. And he put in a really solid performance. Solid's actually probably understanding a really great performance in the VFL on the weekend in a losing team in awful conditions. Those conditions lent themselves to him, but I thought he was pretty great. Jezelenko says, to be fair, O'Sullivan has been chucked on key forwards most weeks. He'll be a star. Don't worry about that. Yeah, look, I think he's had to pick up a fair load in the last few weeks when we've been down Jack Henry and Tom Stewart and Lawson Humphreys. He's had to play a lot of different roles. Now's the perfect time for him to get that rest as the soldiers all start to come back. And it probably means that he goes back to playing on the third tall rather than the number one key defender now. So I look forward to him returning. So Shadu saying, I think Mullen will have Richards in his pocket. Let's hope so. Jezelenko expresses exactly that. I want to see Bailey Smith and Libber go toe-to-toe. My feeling is, and of course there's been a little bit of talk about the back and forth between the two clubs over the course of this week. I think Libber will flatten Bailey Smith at one point. There'll be a free kick that goes Bailey Smith's way. The crowd will jeer, and that's about the extent of it. I don't think there'll be that much between the two teams. I reckon the Dogs will be pretty calm and composed and respectful for the most part. What I am expecting, or what I am hopeful for, really, I'm hoping that Bailey Smith gets a goal nice and early in the game. If he can slot one early, and the crowd, the maxed out crowd that Bevo's talking about, when they get going, if he kicks that early goal, that is going to create such a wave of momentum for the Cats. Like the whole thing, like it's going to be deafening if that happens. So let's hope Bailey Smith can get on the board early. I think that'll be a really important moment for not just him personally, but also I think for the match. Mark says, really got to quell the effective ball use of Richards. He's having an awesome year with score involvements. And yeah, that's where I think Oisin Mullen can be really, really important because he's done that now on Butters. He's done that on Dacos. 2 of the top 10, at least, if I'm just being a little bit... if I'm not getting too carried away, 2 of the top 10 midfielders in the competition. Jezelenko loves Buse, keeping his spot. He's a run and gun halfback. So good. 100% agree with you, mate. And then as I've been saying for years now, he's so important for those gun small forwards. Now, the Dogs are a little bit lacking in that respect at the moment. They don't have their Cody Waitmans and some of those little pests. But I think he'll be really important still in this matchup as well. We can utilize that speed a little bit more. He doesn't perhaps need to be as worried. Now, Riley West just kicked 4, so you can't completely ignore him. But he's not a Cody Waitman. Yeah, and when I say he's not a Cody Waitman, I mean Riley West doesn't dive for free kicks. Lucas says, get past the Dogs and we can annex 5 easily. If anyone, and please, I'm gonna take a moment to quickly scroll across the content here and highlight the video that I want to talk about specifically because I got a video out and I'd really love for it to get a bit more traction than it has. So please, do your bit. If you haven't checked out the video already, I'm going to quickly project the YouTube channel here. So give me just a second. Screen share, Hoops Crew. I would love for people to go and check out the fixture video here. Oh, there's my ugly mug. Let's move away from that. The round 16 to 23 fixture reveal. I get in the weeds about every single game between here and the rest of the season, as well as looking at the round 16 to 23 matchups. I've got us winning a lot of those. I won't tell you the exact number. Got a lot of us winning a lot of those games. And to Lucas's point, if we can get past this one, there could be a fair string of wins to come. So please check out that video if you haven't. Love for your thoughts on how high the Cats can climb up the ladder before the year is out and how many wins we can bank. All right. Refuse Ham. I'm not going to embrace it that much. It's apparently World Turtles Day on Friday, I think it is. Yeah, the 23rd, I think Ben said, on Friday. So I'm throwing him a bone this time, but otherwise that bloke can rightly fuck off. Jezelenko says we have so much to play for tomorrow night, beating arguably the hottest team in the comp at the moment, plus winning for Dunks and Baz. They're still kicking big scores. They're still kicking big scores, the Bulldogs. They are. I think their forwards are contributing. Obviously, Riley West is doing a good job. I don't see Aaron Norton doing a hell of a lot. There's a lot of goals then coming from midfielders. So I think if we can get the matchups right through the midfield and with the quality of our defense, I think we'll be okay. I'm showing my hand a little bit for the preview here, but I think we'll be okay. Will be a statement win, Bussy says. You've got us finishing on 52 points. Is that a 52-point win, or you've got us scoring 52 points for the match? This is where I get my quality turtle news. No better place to be. I feel like we have too many easy games at the end of the year when we should be hardening up for finals footy if we make it. That's fair and reasonable. There's merit in that argument as well. Jezza says, Bussy, low-scoring, scrappy win then. We'll see. Ben dropping the Turtles. All right, moving on. Let's get back to the run of show here. Stories, of course. There's Mitch Duncan playing his 300th game this weekend. This guy. And, you've heard me for quite some time doing, post-game live and making appearances on post-game live. Like I got a text from Ben saying, embrace your inner turtle. Hey, Ben, embrace this. Of course, Mitch Duncan playing his 300th game this week. There was a lot of people pretty keen to write him off last year. And quite a few people, kind of getting behind him with the way he's performed since returning this year. He's started really, really well. There's been a couple strange handballs at different points, but his greatest asset, that kick, it's been real sharp so far this season. Congratulations on Mitch Duncan on 300 games. Hopefully we bank a whole lot more before the year is out. And that maybe he can walk away from the end of the year, maybe as a retiring player, but walk away from the end of this year with a third premiership medallion around his neck. Let's talk about the various absences. So we've alluded to this already. Paddy Dangerfield's out with a hamstring. Jack Bowes with a hamstring. Jake Kolajasny still out with his groin. I'm going to quickly bring up the Geelong website here and project the health hub, assuming that has been updated. It has. So let's project that one. Let's go. Share screen. Cats Health Hub. Boom. There we go. There's our deeper dive into it. So Jake Kolajasny is down 1 to 2 weeks for his groin. Paddy Dangerfield 1 to 2 weeks with the hamstring. Killian Burke 2 to 3 weeks with his knee. Jack Bowes 2 to 5 weeks with a more significant hamstring. Jai Clark is in the concussion protocols. Mitch Edwards and Toby Conway still to be confirmed with their with management and his back. In the case of Toby Conway, there's been a few photos. I've seen it popping up in the Hoops Crew Discord as well. A lot of excitement around him getting closer and closer to a return. Look, there's our three future ruckmen, really. Jacob Mollier management is indefinite, and Lenny Hoffman with his back is also listed as indefinite. Let's keep going here. We've got some notable absentees, but some really important ones here to discuss because Cam Guthrie and Jack Martin make their return to the VFL this weekend. Jack Martin, of course, will be playing his first game in the Hoops at any level. But Cam Guthrie, after a long recovery and many years of injury-interrupted seasons, returns via the VFL this week. I presume both Cam Guthrie and Jack Martin will play a half. Mitch Nevitt also returns. I'd imagine he might also play a half. Just build their tank, build their capacity. No need to rush. This injury list, for the most part, is pretty good right now. I look at it and I go, there's three blokes who are kind of, I guess, in my mind, walk-ups for our 23, being Kolajasny, Dangerfield, and Bowes. But I would say that those 2 to 3 players in particular don't really clash with too many of them. So really, it's depth. It's building depth. It's really good to see. So hopefully they are fit and healthy at the end of the week. Ben's added a section that maybe I've not paid attention to in the past, and I've kind of completely missed it. He's labelled it under pressure. Dun, 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 dun. Let's quickly bring up the team here and kind of talk about those who might potentially be under a bit of scrutiny. Now, Lucas has kind of flagged Shannon Neal, and absolutely there's I guess some queries and concerns that I've got there. But I think there's been some steps in the right direction. 11 score involvements on the weekend was huge. Some goal assists as well as getting on the scoreboard himself. I'd love to just see him kick a bag of 3 or 4 and just put some of these concerns to rest a little bit. I just want him to grab a game by the scruff of the neck and dominate it for a little while, because that's probably the thing that's been missing. There's been promise, there's been signs. I feel like I'm not seeing him drop as many really simple marks like I think occurred early in the season. Like the consistency is getting there, but I just need to see that big moment, have that one little bag. I'm not even talking 5+ and something monstrous, but a little bag would be nice. Lucas says, I would trade Cam Guthrie at the end of the season, see what you can get. I don't think you get much for Cam Guthrie at this point. With the run of injuries in the last few years, the only club that I think is going to see value in someone like Cam Guthrie right now is Geelong. And that's not because he's a bad player or anything like that, but I think for most other clubs, it is simply too risky at this particular stage of his career. We could benefit if he comes good. But I do follow what you're getting at. But yeah, I think ultimately... I think right now the best place for him is with us. And I don't think other clubs are willing to take the risk. Kiri says, Bulldogs have the wood over us at home. Last time was 1998 to 2003. Hope we break this trend tomorrow night. They won the last one, but I think we've won 16 out of our last 18 against the Dogs at GMHBA. There's been a couple that they've pinched along the way. And of course there was that game last year, which was pretty rough for us, but no, I think we've got a pretty good record for the most part. So I'm not as concerned by that one. But someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, I pinned that again. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. For some reason I saw a stat like 16 out of 18 or something like that. We've got a really good run against them, I thought. All right, let's talk about the opposition. The ins for the Dogs. Oscar Baker comes in. Arthur Jones comes out. Much of a muchness, really. There's not much to see here. While Taylor Duray is going to be playing, so the former Hawk is going to be playing his 100th game for the Dogs this weekend. The VFL team will be named tomorrow night. That then takes us into match preview mode. I didn't realize I still had that. Oh, it's hidden down the bottom there. All right, well, Let's shift over to the AFL website really quickly here. We'll bring up our match center. Oh, there it is. Geelong and the Bulldogs. Boom, boom, boom. And let's talk a little bit. Actually, hang on. Here's our recent matchups. Cats. There's another one. No, it's not going to show me anymore. They've won 2 out of the last 3, but I don't think there was much more than that. But please, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, let's bring up the lineups a little bit here. Oh, of course, yeah. Bussy also highlights at the right time too. That was when we kind of put all our best players out. I think we've got a really good winning record there. But they all killed us last time. It was a bit of a bloodbath. No one was really switched on that day. All right, let's get into match preview mode a little bit here. Of course, it's Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round once again. GMHBA Stadium, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. And the weather forecast at the moment is 17 degrees and cloudy. Apparently the average crowd, from the last 2 meetings at GMHBA is 24,000. Let's get those numbers up. Let's not give Bevo any additional fuel. Look, I don't love Libba's tattoos, but I always get a bit of a chuckle at the Homer Simpson that's on his arm. And I think otherwise he's a quirky cat. I don't mind him. Recent form, the Cats are 6-4 and have won 5 of our last 7 games. The Dogs 6-4 as well, but they've won 4 of their last 5 games. Pretty much alongside the Pies, the 2 most informed teams in the competition right now. Makes a really juicy contest with 2 teams that are vying off for a flag, really. I think both teams are absolutely in this race up to their eyeballs. The Cats currently, and probably the home ground advantage helps a little bit here, are $1.86 favourites. So not overwhelming favourites in the eyes of punters, but You disliked his dad. Okay, Tony maybe a bit different. He was a bit of a dog. Um, $1.86 favourites, the Cats at the moment. Make of that what you will. The last matchup, we've discussed it a little bit here. The Dogs won to the tune of 47 points at KP in round 20 last year. Tom Stewart with 26 disposals and a goal. Max Holmes with 23 disposals and 5 clearances. But for the Dogs, there was dominance from 2 individuals in particular. Adam Treloar with 31 disposals and 3 goals. I'm just double checking. Is Adam Treloar back yet? Is he? Where are you, Adam Treloar? I don't see you on that list. Are you still out? Adam Treloar with 31 disposals and 3 goals. Jamari Ugle-Hagan with 18 disposals and 4 goals. He certainly isn't playing. Did Ben just drop a super chat? What's going on here? Did that? Oh, I'll have to double check that one. I'm pretty sure Ben just dropped a super chat. Auto Star super chats, yeah. Free Mitch Hardy, free George Stevens, free him. Hang on. Why has Ben donated $2.99? I need to check this out live. Has he gone and set a super chat goal? Ben said, "Bring out the t-shirt." 5 super chats, and Paul will put on the blue TMNT shirt. Right. Okay, that is the goal as we speak. Well, sure, if we get 5, I'll put it back on. But Ben set the goal. I didn't do it. It says 5 super chats. That's 1 out of 5. He has gotten the ball rolling, and he's just donated to himself. It's a very what's his bloody name? Barack Obama, putting the medal on Barack Obama's neck, style thing. You wear 2, you wear 3, yeah, but there's one that I don't want to wear. All right, let's keep going. Treloar, I don't see him on the list. Cleary, Henderson. How long's Adam Treloar out for? Hang on, let's double check this. Why did I feel like he was? Western Bulldogs. Just take me to your goddamn website. Western. It's because I've got it so shrunk. The official website of the Western Bulldogs. Latest medical room. Adam Treloar is listed as a test for his calf. Right. I thought he was, yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that one. You've popped in at just the right time there, Jezelenko, and yeah, Treloar's out. I thought he was already back, but I must have got things a little bit mixed up there. All right, let's get into the stakes for this game. For my mind, the Cats, this is a statement opportunity. This is an informed team. Not like people say, I think sometimes rightly, I might add, that the Cats beat up on, we have such a dominant winning record at GMHBA, but we beat up on, low-rung teams and interstate teams that come to GMHBA. This is not one of those occasions. So this is the opportunity to make a statement, prove all of those doubters wrong. Oh my God, there's another super chat. Thomas Nash with a $7.99 one. That's 2 out of 5. Okay. I mean, I'll wear it if it happens. I won't be arguing. Hate you all. And Ben's literally donated to himself here. Anyway, we've got to keep moving because I've got how long have I got? 20 past 8. I've got about 25 minutes left up my sleeve for the night. This is a big opportunity to win against an informed home. The Dogs, it's just adding to their credentials. They are building an incredible record at the moment. They're doing it despite missing the likes of Sam Darcy. They've had Bont out for a good chunk of time. He's obviously back, but they've been missing some of the top dogs for a while now, and they've still been banking wins. Now the troops are coming back, and they're even more dangerous. So this is a big opportunity for the Dogs to get a scalp, a massive scalp. One of the top, probably 4 teams in the competition. I know we're not there on the ladder right now, but one of the top 4 teams on the ladder is their opportunity to get a scalp. So big deal for them. Game breakers as far as the Cats are concerned. I think the most important facet for us is actually our defensive unit. So what I want to hone in on here is, and it kind of links to my keys to victory as well. These two are fairly tightly linked. The defensive unit and keys to victory is making them accountable, making their half. Oh my God. Love you all. I say hate you all with love. It's some weird backwards shit. Um, I look at the Dogs forward line and specifically focusing on kind of the non-key position ones. That's 3 out of 5, by the way. So I feel like the t-shirt is an inevitability at this point. I've got 3 layers on with the coat. I guess we go for oh no. For your 10-year-old son loves this show as much as Jezza loves his goals. One more. All right. I'll try and keep going with the show. We'll do it. I'm sure we're going to get there. We'll probably do it. I'm sure the next comment will probably be another donation and we're done here. But for my mind, the Dogs small is mid small forward contingent is vulnerable against a team like the Cats. Riley Sanders is a superstar in the making, but he's still developing. Riley West is also still developing. It's going to take some time for him. Matt Kennedy is obviously a gun, but I feel like he's more of the midfielder resting forward. James Harms also, proven over many years to be a good player, but not a great one. This is an opportunity for your Zach Guthrie's, your Lawson Humphries, your Tom Stewart's, your Mark O'Connors, plus your Mitch Duncans and Jed Buse, the likes who go through there to really thrive because I think they absolutely outclass these mid to small forwards of Dogs. We can use that as a weapon going up the other end of the ground. What have you started, Ben, you piece of shit? Only one more super chat, and that will push us over the line there for the Ninja Turtles shirt. Sorry, Mark, with the audio. I think it's been leaning in a little bit too much from time to time, and I think I'm causing the audio to peak. Who does the job? I'll keep talking while I get changed. You're saying maybe I just knocked it at some point. I'll sit back a little bit further. But while we do this, is it the right way at the moment? Fucking World Turtle Day. I'm going to have to cut this show off early at this rate just so I can get to my basketball game. You're all killing me here. Do I have... Oh, and we got a little bonus one as well. Thanks, mate. Do we have the music queued up? We don't. Ben, if you're able, I'll embrace it. We'll get the music going. But I can't do it while I'm trying to do the show at the same time. If you want to jump in on the back end of the stream here and drop the audio in there, I'll embrace it. We'll get our teenagers in very small bite-sized chunks so we don't get traumatized. But turtle, what's the saying for the turtles? Turtle up. All right. Audio's a little spotty. Sounds like distortion. I do think it might be the placement of the mic. I'm really mindful of not messing with it too much while we're recording. I might tinker with it a little bit when we get to our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist, in a little while. The total say cowabunga. Cowabunga. Said it with real gusto and conviction, right? Okay. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep going with the show. You're killing me here. I think that's a huge opportunity for us is through the half back line. I guess our small to mid defenders to really exploit less experienced, I think, a less capable forward line of the Dogs. Aaron Norton's still something to be feared at points, but I think Sam Dakota will absolutely have his measure. That unleashes Jack Henry to deal with Buku Karmas, who I think also Jack Henry would absolutely have his measure. I think defensively we've got the chops to be able to deal with the Dogs forwards. So then that shifts to the keys for victory, which for the Dogs I've got as their midfield. Like if they can dominate the midfield, if Bond, Liver, Richards, who else am I looking for? Williams and obviously Tim English is the ruckman. Where's he? Matt Kennedy. As they go through the midfield, they can start to dominate. That becomes a problem because the Dogs get a lot of goals and they set up so much up with a really dominant midfield. We need to nip that in the bud. We don't need to win that contest, but we need to balance it out. Jeez, it's cold. I'm putting the coat back over the top. I'll make sure it's visible. Is the audio better, by the way, Lucas, and some of the others that were flagging it? We've also got a little feature here that it's a beta that show comments on the stage. So I'll turn that on. We'll see how that goes as we go through. We're trialing things here. Getting worse. Not ideal. Worse now, you reckon? Still a bit jumpy. We'll see how we go. Bear with me here as we keep pushing through things a little bit, though. If we can kind of squash that mid, still bad. I'm going to mess with the audio while we do our throw to the sponsor. So I might quickly make my prediction, and then we'll go from there. My prediction is the Cats win by 8 points. Did we get that? Cats by 8 points. Someone repeated in the comments for me. Cats by 8 points. It's prediction because I have no idea how bad this audio is right now. I feel like I need to listen back. See if I can do that actually. Oh yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it. It's my positioning around the microphone. I'll get a little bit more up close and personal with you all. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Someone say 8 points back at me that's not Mark Jezelenko who's already done it. All right, I'll sit a bit closer to the mic. I think that might be the issue. I caught myself kind of wandering, kind of every time it started to cut, I was moving a bit away from the mic. So I think it was kind of fading away a little bit there. My bad. Sorry, everyone. I'll be better now. Hopefully that works. Please confirm. Shadu says yes. Hopefully that continues to be better. I was probably getting a little bit too far away from the microphone. Damn it. Everyone says it's bad. Actually, yeah, I'm seeing like choppiness in the video too. There might be some internet issues. I apologize. We'll try and make this work. Bear with me. It's going to be really hard to kind of diagnose it midway through the show. So I'm really sorry about that. But what we'll do, we'll get into the rest of the show. We'll talk about the history between the two teams. We'll go through the other tips for the rest of the round. After a word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at Shop 12, 11 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew. Bussy says, jump onto your OnlyFans, Paul. Never had a problem there. That is, if I was giving away a pizza tonight, you would have just won one. All right. Apologies to those, like if we're suffering a little bit with the audio and maybe some internet choppiness here. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me if I go and do a speed test, which is also a kind of risky, stupid thing to do when I'm midway through a stream. It'll probably say that my connection's flying, but maybe not. My wife might be. Yeah, that says it's pretty good. I'll wait until it comes up with the upload. We'll keep going though. We'll try and push the show. Let's talk about the history here. This is going to be the 170th meeting of the two teams, dating back to 1925. It'll be our 100th. The show is affecting the audio. It's too powerful. Dating back 100 years. The matchup's going back 100 years this year. There's been two draws, 1935 and 1957. The last 6 games between the two teams, 4-2 the Cats' way. Those 2 losses at GMHBA that we discussed before, the appalling effort last year, and then the round 23 game that we nearly pinched, despite the fact that we basically just fielded a bunch of kids in 2023 at the end of the season. In recent finals history, we've got some nice history between us and the Dogs here. In fact, I don't have any history, real decent history against us in finals whatsoever. 1992, the qualifying final, Cats by 61 points. 1993's preliminary final. The Cats by 64 points went on to a grand final. We don't talk about that. In 2008 prelim final, Geelong by 29 points. We went on to a grand final. We don't talk about that. In 1994, the qualifying final, Geelong by 5 points. We went on to play in the grand final. We don't talk about that. In 1995, in the qualifying final, the Cats won by 82 points. We went on to play in a grand final, and we don't talk about that. In 2009, the Cats won in the qualifying final by 14 points, and we won the premiership. And of course, we talk all about that premiership, one of the greatest grand finals of all time. We've got some recent classics here, some recent memorable matches here. Round 5, 2024, the Cats won by 4 points. Geelong held on in the final 2 minutes there against a pretty, like a surging Bulldog unit. In round 14, 2021, COVID years, in front of a very limited crowd, the Cats won by 5 points. It was that Gary Rowan goal after the siren. Surely it can't be as bad as Lucas is saying. It can't be. It can't be. I'm going to listen back to myself a little bit now. I'm just going to play it back for a second. Oh, I'm hearing it. It's pretty hard to understand when I get going. To be fair, that's the best of times, I would say. Refuse TM. We'll make a fist of it. We've got to try and keep going. So other classic matches. Round 9, 2017, Geelong won by 23 points there. There was 134 tackles laid, the fourth most ever, after being criticised for only 40 tackles in the week prior. We made a fair old statement. Brendan says it's fine. It also sounds mostly fine when I'm listening back to it. So maybe it's you that are the... Anyway. Round 9, 2009, Geelong by 2 points. Brad Johnson's miss after the full-time siren. What a classic that one was. Round 16, 2006, Geelong by 1 point. We again held on in the final couple of minutes there to steal that win. Let's also talk about how we've had some players from both sides switch it up. Joel Hamling, former Cat, became a Bulldog. Nathan Takura, that was 2014. Nathan Takura, 2010, doing the same thing. Tim Callan, 2007. Peter Street, 2003. And Matty Robbins in 1997. We don't even really think of Matty Robbins as a Cat player, but he was for a brief period, becoming a Bulldog and taking some ripper marks for years. On the flip side, there's been some Bulldogs who've become Cats. Bailey Smith in 2024. Sean Higgins, of course, via North Melbourne, became a Cat. And Lukey Dalhouse in 2018, the super sub in a few matches a few years ago, especially in matchups against the Pies. Let's go around the grounds now and talk about the other matches to be played this week. Of course, there's one game that really matters to us. That is the Cats and the Dogs on Thursday night. But we have a range of others as well. There is Essendon going head-to-head with the Tigers. And honestly, it's so hard to pick this one because both teams suck. I would say Bombers, but I don't say it with any conviction. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Tigers win this one. The Bombers are awful. And I know they've won, 5 out of their last 7, but they've beaten nobody. They've beaten absolute nobody teams and then got utterly trounced by a genuine opponent. To be fair, Richmond isn't a genuine opponent, so we'll give them the win in this one, but only just. Carlton against the Giants. I've seen the Carlton are the favourites for this one, but I don't really... I don't know. I'm going to say the Giants. I think they're going to be smarting a little bit off the back of the comment around the graphics. They're going to be smarting a little bit after last week. They really didn't put their best foot forward, and I think they'll clap back pretty hard this week. I'm going to tip the Giants in this one. Hawks and Lions at the MCG will be a really fascinating contest. Brisbane also not performing at their absolute best lately. Lucas has just nailed it, pin in that comment. The Hawks have beaten absolutely nobody. I did see, and I assume you saw the same thing. It was the clip from the Classified that got posted there, showing all the teams they've beaten. And yeah, they've only beaten one top 8 team, it's GWS, who are currently 8th. Everyone else has been cellar dwellers. I still think the Hawks are a decent team, but certainly a string of victories against low-ranked opponents will keep them humble, I hope. I don't know how to pick this one. Neither team is absolutely in their best form right now. I'll say the Hawks is at the home ground. Not really. And yeah, just like highlighting it there, the Hawks having only beaten one top eight team this season. Like I said, it was GWS. North and Collingwood, the Pies will win this with ease. Freo and Port Adelaide, the battle of the two flakiest teams in the competition. And I'll give the points because it's at home to Port Adelaide. To Fremantle. Port Adelaide are also missing Jason Horne-Francis, which is definitely going to hurt against a strong Fremantle midfield. I'll go the Dockers by, I don't know, 2 goals or thereabouts. I wouldn't be surprised if the result goes the other way. I wouldn't be surprised if one team does not show up and get smacked because these teams are super, super flaky. On Sunday, we've got Adelaide and West Coast. Adelaide will win that with ease. Congratulations to West Coast on their first win the other day. Melbourne and Sydney. Melbourne's found some form. They've found some touch, and Sydney are still not where they need to be. So Melbourne, for me, and St Kilda and Gold Coast wrap up the round. Marvel Stadium, St Kilda plays it well. So it might be a test for Gold Coast, who still need to prove themselves when they come to Victoria. I'll tip the Suns, though. It's hard to tip against them with their form at the moment. Lucas says, that's a good-looking profile photo I have when I pin it. There's me doing a favour for you, mate. All pin. Super chat if Paul can guess where it's from. I don't know what it's from. Ben says Jurassic Park, but I feel like you're specifically putting it out there because I should know what it is, but I don't. Here he nails it. Freo like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get out of them. All right, let's get into our player spotlight because we need to wrap things up pretty promptly, and we're going to no, it's a horror series, like a horror game series. It doesn't look like Resident Evil. Surely it's not Silent Hill. It's not Dead Space. Good horror series. 90s movies. Is it Alien? I don't know. I don't watch many movies, Lucas. We've gone through this. Let's get into our player spotlight, though. We're focusing on this bloke, Mitch Duncan. Look at those tips. In fact, it's not even tips in that case. It's the whole thing. But he's obviously going to hit his 300th game on the weekend. He's going to be the 7th cat and the 108th player overall to play 300 games across his 16 seasons. Obviously, to this point, 299 games. He's kicked 185 goals. He's received 68 Brownlow votes. He's a 2-time premiership player, reached in 28 finals, played in 3 grand finals. That is 2011, 2020, and 2022. Ben's giving me every single one here. Prelim finals in 2011, 13, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, and 24. Semi-finals in 13, 14, 17, 20, and 21. Qualifying finals in 2011. 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 24. That's crazy how many times we featured in the top 4 throughout his career. And elimination finals in 2012 and 2018. Bussy, I will quickly address my thoughts on the last before we wrap up. Short version. And I'm waiting to see the final episode of last. I'm hoping I get an email on that tonight. Before, in fact, I've just done it. There we go. Like I'm hoping I hope I get it tonight. But they did a wonderful job with episodes. Drafted in 2009, pick 8 from East Perth. Look at that. Look at that mugshot. Who'd have thought this bloke was going to be a 300 game player? Who'd have thought? Perth's surfy boy, as Jezelenko says. Think horror serial killer. It's not horror serial killer. The only show I really care about is a serial killer, and it is Dexter. It's not Dexter. I'm so sorry, Lucas. I'm failing you here. Um, he debuted in round 1, 2010 against the Bombers. He was a 2011 Rising Star nominee. In 2017, he was the Cardigrees Medal runner-up, and in career high stats for you. Disposals. He's had 38 disposals in a game twice. He's kicked 4 goals in a game, including the 65. To hell with he drops. Well, when you do the super chat, drop the series you're referring to in it, because I've got no idea. Educate me. Quick pause. Google. Oh, if I could get my act, if I wasn't rushing, I would. Tackles at 18 in a game. All of you who say Mitch Duncan doesn't defend, 18 in a game, including 31 disposals in that match. What a game from the bloke. He's been suspended once in 2023 for a dangerous tackle. The number 22, some history behind the number 22. He is absolutely the most iconic of all of those. Tom Morrow with 120 games, Hamilshire 113, and then there's Jack Metherall, a 1937 premiership player. But absolutely, Mitch Duncan has made the number 22 his own. He is the iconic number 22. Let's acknowledge some wacky Wednesday performances from Mitch Duncan as well. He's done the St Kilda Schoolgirl. He's an Adidas brand ambassador. He's done Summer Music Festival goer. He's been a retiree. He's been Coach Bryant, a banged up Joel Selwood. He's done Steve Irwin. He's done everything. What a jet he is. Mitch Duncan, congratulations. Congratulations on your 300th game. You've been a wonderful servant of the club for many, many years. It's been a privilege to watch you play. The number of goal assists that you've got. We don't care about Henry Playfair, Jackie. Nowhere near Mitch Duncan's level. You've been a wonderful servant to this football club. You've done phenomenal things, and I'm so thankful for you having been a cat for all these years. You've given us so many treasured memories. Jeslenko says, my mate coached him 20 years ago, and he was playing against a 13-year-old Jack Daniel Rich who could kick 50 meters then. Good Lord. Actually, here's some other players. Sorry, I missed one little point here along the way. The draft class that Mitch Duncan was a part of included Dan Menzel. Could have been anything. What a phenomenal player Dan Menzel was. ACL career. Alan Bundy Christensen, Nathan Vardy, Josh Cowan, Jeremy Layla, and James Podsley-Adley. There is a lot of class here. Now, I can't remember now who did it. I think it was Amy months ago. Now, dropped a super chat about a list, like ranking the top 5 drafts. I have gone one further, and I've constructed a top 10 drafts, and I've got to make a video out of it. I think in the bye weeks will be when I do that, and we get it out there. Then some graphics for me to make it really production value this thing up, and make it something really worth checking out. So hopefully you enjoy that one. But absolutely, that 2009 draft class is going to feature pretty prominently. Right. This is going to be the shortest and sharpest Q&A of all time, and we are abandoning game of the show for this episode. We'll get back to it on Sunday. Maybe I'll give Monday. Oh, geez, it's a while away. It was Jackie was the one with the thing for the top 5 drafts. Haven't forgotten it, Jackie. I've already made the list. It is ready to go. I just need to get the video going. Q&A. Let's get into some of that, and it is super rapid fire. I'm giving this no more than 5 minutes, and I've got to get inside, get myself ready, and get out the door. So, Ben's giving us a few options here to jump into. The first one: will Nathan Kruger or Charlie McCartan get picked up in next week's season draft? Nightmare from Elm Street. I look at her, whoever that character, Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street. I look at Alice, and I don't look at 90s. She looks, even the screenshot that you've grabbed there looks so much more modern. Like her hairstyle looks more modern than what I'd expect from the 90s. You got me. Well done, mate. Thank you. Well done. It's hard to beat me when it comes to film trivia. And Jackie, I hope it's worth the wait when we get it done. So Nathan Kruger or Charlie McCartan? I think Nathan Kruger's got a huge chance. Charlie McCartan will be really interesting, of course. I feel like with the number of concussions that both Paddy and Tom have had over the years, there's probably a little bit of concern from some that Charlie might be the same, kind of wired the same way, and it's a higher risk. I also haven't heard his name spoken as prominently as Nathan Kruger's. I feel like Nathan Kruger possibly a yes, but we don't have any list spots available, so he won't be coming to us. Charlie Card, probably no. Next question is, will James Hird ever coach again? Of course, that has been a big topic of conversation this week. Obviously, pretty quickly debunked. But will we see James Hird ever coach again? I don't think at the top level. I don't think he's interested. I think he's pretty happy. He kind of expressed on he's happy kind of coaching and working with his son. But that's about it. Otherwise, he's doing his media work. And he's got his own business, which apparently was jeopardised a little bit by the behaviours of these media individuals this week. Should Geelong inquire about Jacob Royan? That is a fascinating question. And if Geelong's name gets uttered even once by me, please tell me, because there will be a video coming straight away if that's the case. Brendan says Hardy. Hird is a genuine AFL. He's wonderful at that. Honestly, I'm just glad to see he's in a good headspace there. I don't have a lot of sympathy for the Essendon Football Club with what happened with the drug thing, but I have a lot of sympathy for James Hird. The way he was treated was by everyone. So, and he was obviously in a horrible place mental health wise. Apparently, if I recall, could be completely wrong here. He was mental health kind of jeopardized his own life on a few occasions, and obviously we don't want that to happen to anyone. Again, going back to my points about Adam Selwood in this community before, please, community, we've got one here. We hope you stick around and please reach out to us. But yeah, I think if Ben Royan's name gets linked to Geelong in any given way, let me know. We'll talk about it. I see your question there, Bussy. I'll talk about it in 1 second. Will Mitch Duncan be rested after this week? I think if there was a time to do it, that would be the time. I think his rest was probably meant to be a half a game rest against the Power, and that didn't quite work out. Hawks are apparently front runners for Butters. Yeah, that was in the eyes of some, but there was other. This was on that same panel. There was a few people that said that the Hawks were the favourites, but then I also heard others like Damien Barrett saying it was that Geelong, if like Geelong are there, as well as the Bulldogs. It's a tough race. The Bulldogs, I think, are underrated in this race. He is a Bulldog supporter as a kid, and so that adds weight. Jesselenko says his favourite player as a kid was Hirdy. Met him one day, and he personally signed his book for me. Yeah, I think I've got a signature in one of my old AFL magazines or something from James Hird as well. I'd have to dig it out, but I think it's still in Mum's place. Hird is a legend of the game. The club did him dirty. Yeah, I mean, he was let down by so many people. I'm just glad he's okay. I know, Butters to Hawthorn sucks. Can Jack Higgins win the Coleman as a small forward? Absolutely not. Someone needs to take him out. We can't have this. He's not that good of a player anyway, but he's second in the Coleman right now. I think Jesse Hogan is the front runner at the moment. I know he's not leading it, but he's averaging more goals a game, and he's not that far behind now. I think he'll come and catch up pretty soon and overtake it. Jezza inflated his numbers with his bag of 7. Maybe it gives him the form he needs to go on a bit of a surge. We'll see. You can't ever rule him out, but yeah, that remains to be seen. All right, Lucy, we'll go back to your thing there. How am I going? Pretty well. Have I been on 7 News recently? All right, we're doing this. This is my final act for the night. I'm going to Twitter. I'm finding a DM that Ben Reed sent me. I am hopefully not going to get us demonetized by Channel 7 here. But yeah, sorry, Bussy, I'm doing well. I'm under the pump a lot, whether it's school and the work that goes with that, whether it is my games media work, trying to write a book, as we've discussed, the Hoops Crew stuff. It's been a lot. and somewhere along the way, I'm trying to be a dad, hopefully a good husband as well. So it's pretty exhausting. It's pretty tough at times, but in terms of my actual headspace, I'm in a good space. I'm just I'm just exhausted. But I want to keep doing this. I love the grind. This work is kind of the work that we do here for the Hoops crew. This was the most recent thing that kind of got added to my plate, my day to day, my lifestyle. And certainly, it's a compounding factor in, I guess, some of the exhaustion from time to time, and that's kind of why it was really handy that Ben gave me a chop out last week. Yeah, for this equivalent show last week, it just gave me that night to just unwind. I kicked back. I listened into the show. Obviously, people saw me in the comments. Kicked back with my wife. We just sat on the couch. Heater was on. Watched some Seinfeld. Saw some really nice comments from all of you. I just saw some really really nice comments from all of you as well. Some nice sarcastic ones too that I could see through the joke, and you're all taking a few little pot shots when I wasn't there, and I appreciate the fun and that. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you all. You've been amazing for me. Thank you all very much. And as much as I put that sentiment out there before about community and those sort of things, for me too, you're all really important as a community. So thank you all for getting around me and the team week in, week out. All right, let's project Lucas here. Get a little look at Mitch Duncan for a second while we get our screen sharing going. We'll go to Coach Lucas on X. Prime time, Coach Lucas here. I have audio. I hope I have audio. Let me know if we don't have audio. I know my audio has been shit, but this should be okay. Here is Coach Lucas.
There's always kids that just go in there and take something off the shelf.
The supermarket posted this video online saying, can parents of these kids teach them not to...
There he is. Get around this bloke. Good value. We will keep Coach Lucas here on the screen. Well, for a moment. Hang on, let me get rid of... I can hear myself in my ears as we do this. There we go. We'll keep Coach Lucas pinned to the screen. And as Shadu says, I can't forget my basketball game. It is 8:53, and I need to get myself going. The Dark Lord himself is here on our screen. Right in front of me. The A-tier internet celebrity lives. All right. Let's wrap things up because I need to. I'm running out of time. Thank you all once again for this show tonight, for being around. We've spoken all about community. It's really, really important. Thank you all so much for the ongoing support. If you're enjoying what we do here at the Hoops Crew, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. Like the video. Tell your friends and family. I saw the comment from someone before. Make sure you're liking these videos. Help get the word out there. Share it around with your friends. We'd really appreciate it. Your support is enormous to hopefully our continued growth as a platform. And the more we grow, the more we can give you. Hopefully, it's all good stuff. I've got a bunch of ideas. At some point, we might just do a live stream, which is just discussing ideas for the show or for the channel in the future. I've got some stuff buzzing around in my mind. One of those Ben didn't acknowledge, arsehole. Comment. So many of you are doing it live right now, but if you're watching this video after the fact, please use the comment section. Let me know what you think about any of the subjects we've discussed tonight. Look forward to waxing with you about those. Myself, Ben, the chaps, we'll all see those and we'll get in touch as well. You can also do so in our Discord channel too. We've got to make sure the Discord link is in the show notes, so go check that out. Be heard. The super chat function, a few of you have utilized it tonight. Thank you to all of you. And I might make sure I check those names. Ben donated to himself. Sure. Thomas Nash, Jackie, Refuse TM, Shadu, Bussy, and Lucas. Thank you all for your donations tonight. Wearing the turtles loud and proud. We'll pin it and hold it out. Lawson Humphrey style. Far less significant than what Lawson had accomplished. But there it is. Here it is. Super Chat's made that happen. Let's see what else we do over the course of the year. Follow me on socials. That is Twitter Instagram and Blue Sky. That's Paul James Games is where you'll find me. Thank you again to our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew. And if you like what we do and you want to get access to the early access content, the exclusives, I love that I'm doing this and Lucas's frozen head is there. The early access content, the exclusives, the extended shows, patreon.com/the Hoops Crew is where you need to go. $5 or $6 per month is all you need to chip in to get that delivered directly to your email inbox. Exclusive episodes of The Scratching Post. There's extended versions of the Chaps Chat Cats and a whole lot more. The Twos, everything. All that stuff is exclusive to our patrons. Go check out what we're doing there. Hopefully you like it. There's also a 7-day free trial to see if it's for you. All right. That is where we're going to wrap things up for the night. Let's quickly go through the last of these comments that have popped in while I was looking at our media assets. The man, the myth, the legend, pants optional. Hang on, you can't go stealing that. Ben's been calling me the man, the myth, the legend this whole time. I won't cop this. We'll call... Who doesn't wear pants? We'll call him Winnie the Pooh. Luca's Winnie the Pooh when he's without pants. Winnie the Pooh. Wear a red shirt for us on Saturday, mate, please. On tomorrow night. Post-game live tomorrow night. Oh, my God. Should have shown Lucas rizzing up that bird on Saturday. Oh, what's he done there? Listen to Jake's VFL vid earlier. Very good for those interested. That is, again, behind the Patreon paywall, so go check that one out. Again, $5 $6 per month. Lucas is upset. It's just par for the course these days. We need Lucas's mum. It's $5 subscribe. Don't be a dirty dog. I won't suggest that, but Bussy has. Should this be a future thumbnail? Absolutely, we'll have to keep this in store. If you can get the screenshot without you adjusting the volume for your soundbar at the same time, send us that screenshot and we'll use it. Was Lucas wearing shorts during the interview? Who knows? It's one of the mysteries of the universe. Yes, I was doing a morning jog before I got pulled up. Thank you very much. Bussy loves Cyril Cook. The mic is finally fixed. Of course it is. Big end of the show. Of course it's fixed. Good timing. Never good timing, Bussy. Laughs all around. Yeah, Mike giveth, taketh away. We'll blame my wife. She's probably watching something on Netflix and nuked my internet or something. Perfect timing. Humphrey B. Bear wore no pants and got banned. Shit. 10 super chats and he'll get mum on. We're going to have to do that during post-game live, though, because I've got to go. I've got a basketball game to play very, very soon. And thank you, Jezelenko, for the support. Thank you, all of you, for the support tonight. It's been a pleasure, as always. I wanted to keep this to an hour to give myself time. An hour and 12 minutes has passed. I need to go. Thank you all, as always. One final little go to World Turtle Day on Friday. Get around the turtles. Cowabunga, as we say, all of us Ninja Turtles fans. That's what we all say. Enjoy. Remain Geelong strong. Go Cats tomorrow night. Get loud. Get proud. If you can get to the ground, cheer loudly. Let's hope Bailey Smith gets a goal early and makes a mockery of the Dogs. Remain Geelong strong, and I'll see you later. Thanks, everyone.